Welcome back. Our next guest is an artist celebrating art. Marcus Hummon is Grammy Award-winning winner and a Nashville Hall of Famer. He has a new album out that celebrates the works of Emily Dickinson.
It's so cool, and it seems kind of like a different kind of project, putting someone else's poetry into song. Thank you so much for joining us
Thanks
again.
For having me. I know you've been so good of my family.
We love you all, really and truly. And okay, so we've got to unpack this. Songs, in my opinion, are really kind of poetry in itself.
Yeah.
Was this the first time celebrating another artist through your work?
I've done it one other time. I worked with Nashville Opera years ago. First time I've just really focused on just one individual. And but you know, after writing in Nashville for so many years, it's actually very liberating to use someone else's lyric. So it's kind of a breath of fresh air.
You mentioned she kind of writes in hymns. I mean, it's kind of surprised us.
That's one of the things when she died in 1886 at 55. The story is broadly that they found a cache of something like almost 1,800 poems, and they didn't know. Not many people knew that she was that prolific. They had no idea, and of course it turned out that not only were there a lot of poems, it was some of the greatest writing in American history, perhaps in the English language. So it's wonderful stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I Dwell in Possibility is the focus single. Let's take a listen.
The spreading wide mind, narrow hands, together paradise.
Wow, I really love that. And you said Mary Chapin Carpenter is the other voice we hear in this.
Mary Chapin Carpenter, I reached out to her. I found out actually through the years on Instagram, we became pals after so many years, because I was around, you know, when she was, you know, winning so many awards and all this. She had tremendous success, really one of the great singer-songwriters of our generation. But I found out that she's a theater buff, and she's also really interested in Emily Dickinson, and there's kind of an army of people out there. And I reached out to her, and it was really a reach in some ways, because I admire her so much. But she could not have been more gracious. And so in this particular song, we take the couplets, right? And we actually sing them back and forth to each other. And the way that we talked about it is that we converse in Emily Dickinson.
Oh,
yeah.
I asked him originally if it was hard to write with that kind of wording, if you will, but he said, hey, we did great. I want to know, clearly you said an army of people behind Emily Dickinson.
There are.
What did you learn from her, and what do you hope people kind of take away from this album?
Oh gosh, I mean, any focus at all on this great American poet, if I, in any small way, if I add to that, I would be, you know, thrilled. But I think it's just taking poetry. I think if Emily thought, and you can take this from this song, that poetry is perhaps one of the most important things that we do with our lives, that we, as human beings, we wouldn't even really know who we are if it weren't for the poetry in our life. And for, you know, for some, that may be Emily Dickinson, and it may be songs and songwriters, poets today, but sometimes they're Paul Simon or they're Joni Mitchell. You know, in my generation, those were our poets. And anyway, so I just really would like to shine a light on Emily with my music.
Love it.
Yeah.
You're one of those poets, Joe. I'm just saying. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you. All right, everyone. Marcus Hummon's songs for Emily are out now, called I Never Saw a More. You can listen wherever you stream your music.